The ocean's deepest reaches are often imagined as silent, cold, and lifeless. A realm so dark and hostile it escapes the reach of almost all known life. Yet beneath this shadowed veil lies a landscape of astonishing vitality and mystery. At the very bottom, where sunlight never penetrates and pressures crush like a giant's grip, hydrothermal vents puff clouds of superheated water rich in strange minerals. These vents are like volcanic geysers, jetted from cracks in the Earth's crust, creating underwater mountain ranges that seem almost alien. It's here, at these volcanic oases in the abyssal dark, that life defies all odds, thriving in an environment that should surely be barren. What kind of world exists where fire meets ice, and life blooms from chemical chaos? This is the beginning of an extraordinary journey to explore the sentinels of the abyss, guardians of these mysterious vents that guard the secrets of the deep ocean's future. These hydrothermal vents formed where tectonic plates pull apart, allowing seawater to sneak through fissures deep beneath the seabed. As it descends, this water is superheated by magma chambers hidden beneath the crust, flowing back to the ocean floor infused with metals and minerals toxic elsewhere. When this scalding brew bursts forth, temperatures can exceed 400 degrees Celsius. Yet paradoxically, it instantly cools in the surrounding near-freezing sea. This extreme contrast creates towering chimneys known as black smokers that vent mineral-rich fluids, shaping surreal structures that serve as the foundation for unique ecosystems. In this brutal dance of fire and cold, life here does not rely on sunlight or photosynthesis, but on a phenomenon quite alien to most biological understanding: chemosynthesis. Microbes near vents feed on hydrogen sulfide and methane, harnessing chemical energy to create organic matter, forming the base of a bizarre food chain that supports a cascade of odd and wonderful creatures. Despite the abyss's darkness and hostility, these vent fields burst with vibrant life forms, many found nowhere else on Earth. Enormous tube worms with red plumes that look like alien flowers, foot-long clams with glowing shells, shrimps with delicate translucent bodies. These creatures have evolved remarkable adaptations to convert poison into power. The tube worms, for instance, harbor symbiotic bacteria deep within their tissues, bacteria that transform the vent's toxic chemicals into nourishment. Other creatures graze on bacterial mats or filter the chemical-rich waters, weaving a complex web of survival in a world of extremes. These hot spots are ecological islands scattered along the ocean floor, each supporting colonies that bloom and fade as vents appear or cool. Life here is fragile yet mercilessly persistent, clinging to the edge of existence in ways that challenge our deepest assumptions about biology and resilience. But amid this striking beauty and intense life, something eerily unsettling lurks. The vent ecosystems are punctuated by strange phenomena, pulses of bioluminescent light that ripple unpredictably through the clouds of mineral particles, flickers of shadows that dart too fast to be identified, unexplained disappearances of small but essential species, and mysterious silences where the bustle of activity suddenly ceases. These unexplainable signs hint at an unseen presence, a guardian or watcher, stirring in the twilight depths. Researchers occasionally lose contact with robotic explorers sent to study the vents, their signals cut off without warning. A creeping suspicion arises. Is the vent field itself alive, or is there something sentient cloaked in the darkness, warning intruders away? The narrative of these deep vents begins to twist from pure science to something closer to legend, an enchanted, haunted realm that defies simple explanation. To truly understand these mysteries, we must zoom in on the geology itself. Underneath the black smokers, a complex chemical factory churns. The vent water, rich in sulfides and metals, undergoes dramatic transformations as it mixes turbulently with the cold seawater, creating a dynamic, unstable environment. These fluids create mineral deposits that continuously grow, collapse, and reform, sculpting the landscape with every pulse. But this setting also breeds life forms whose biology blurs the lines between the organic and the inorganic. Crystalline structures embedded with living bacteria, armor-like scales forged from metal deposits, and strange exoskeletons that seem part machine, part creature. These sentinels guard the vents, not with claws or teeth, but with a silent and implacable existence, adapting with eerie precision to the chemical tides and tempests. Caught between the scientific and the speculative, these guardian creatures may represent a new form of existence evolved to withstand the vent's hellish conditions. Unlike anything on the surface, they communicate through chemical signals, a language hidden in plumes of smoke and mineral mists. Some display regiments of movement resembling rituals, repairing mineral towers, defending feeding grounds, and repelling unwelcome visitors, including human intruders. Could these sentinels be the ocean's way of preserving these fragile habitats? They may embody both ancient evolutionary marvels and the unintended consequences of humanity's impact on the deep sea, an ecosystem now exposed and threatened by mining and exploration. Is this silent army its own protector or an enigma created by dark forces we are only beginning to perceive? The implications reach beyond biology and delve into the philosophical. In the void, where life is bound to extremes, could intelligence take forms beyond our understanding? Could the Sentinels channel a collective consciousness tied to the vent's geological heartbeat, sensing and responding to threats as one? Stories from expeditions speak of instruments failing, of ghostly movements beyond the edge of sonar, and of entire research teams slipping into the abyss without explanation. What new laws of existence govern this realm, where chemistry fuses with biology and mystery? The abyss seems not just a place of isolation but a threshold to something profoundly otherworldly, a frontier where humanity's thirst for knowledge meets the ocean's inscrutable, watchful forces. As we ascend back through the ever-darkening waters, one thing remains clear. The future of the ocean is entwined with these enigmatic sentinels. They are the keepers of Earth's hidden fires, the unseen architects of life in the abyss, and perhaps the last witnesses to a world both ancient and evolving. What role will humanity play in this story? Will we be the explorers who unlock nature's greatest riddles or the interlopers who disturb a precarious balance? The abyss holds its breath, its depths guarded by these mysterious sentinels, inviting us to question, wonder, and respect the fragile majesty of life in the shadows. Imagine plunging deeper into the abyss, where the Earth's restless core breathes fire into the ocean's frozen heart. Here, hydrothermal vents erupt as the planet's hidden lungs, spewing superheated plumes that sculpt a surreal underworld. Tectonic plates grind apart along mid-ocean ridges, cracking the seafloor like fragile eggshell. Seawater seeps into these wounds, descending miles to kiss magma chambers glowing with infernal heat. Supercharged to over 400 degrees Celsius, this mineral-laced brew surges back, bursting forth in towering black smokers that defy the surrounding chill. What alchemy brews in these depths, turning poison into the cradle of life? Could these vents be the forge where future oceans hammer out their strangest guardians? The mystery thickens as we witness the breath of the Earth itself, alive with secrets. These vents form at the zipper of Earth's crust, where diverging plates birth new seafloor in slow, inexorable motion. Cold ocean water infiltrates porous rock, heated and chemically altered by subterranean fires. Enriched with hydrogen sulfide, methane, iron, and dissolved metals, the fluid erupts toxic to surface dwellers yet nourishing below. Black smokers rise like Gothic spires, their chimneys precipitating minerals into fantastical shapes. Twisted needles, bulbous hives, labyrinthine reefs. Temperatures plummet instantly upon mixing with icy seawater, creating gradients of scalding fury to frigid void. Have you ever wondered how such violence sustains an empire of life? In this cauldron, chemistry reigns supreme, whispering promises of bizarre evolution. Yet shadows flicker in the plumes, hinting at watchers in the steam. Life here shuns the sun, embracing chemosynthesis as its forbidden feast. Microbes, the unsung architects, oxidize vent chemicals, sulfur compounds, hydrogen, methane, fixing carbon into biomass without a photon's aid. These extremophiles carpet the chimneys, mats pulsing with invisible energy, forming oases amid barren plains. Symbiotic bonds forge the food web. Giant tube worms house bacterial legions in their translucent guts, plumes waving like blood-red banners. Clams and mussels filter the brew, shells iridescent with mineral gleam, while eyeless shrimp swarm in translucent hordes. Does this independence from light mark a parallel biology, alien to our world? The ecosystem thrives in isolation, yet pulses of eerie light suggest hidden rhythms. Something stirs, guarding this chemical banquet from prying eyes. Enormous biomass clusters around active vents, rivaling rainforests in productivity despite the dark. Tube worms stretch 2 meters tall, feather-like gills harvesting toxins for their inner factories. Mussels cluster in fist-sized aggregations, siphons probing the flow, symbiotic bacteria churning sustenance from death. Shrimp and crabs scuttle over bacterial meadows, eyes adapted to detect faint chemical glows. Predators lurk, whelks devouring juveniles, fish with jaws like traps patrolling edges. Zonation rules. Hottest flows host sulfur oxidizers, cooler margins welcome grazers and hunters. But why do cycles erupt? Blooms, then barren silences. Unseen forces prune the garden, leaving whispers of control. The vents pulse like a living heart, beating with unspoken dread. Beyond the spectacle, anomalies haunt the data streams from deep-sea probes. Bioluminescent waves synchronize across fields, defying random chaos, as if orchestrated by invisible conductors. Species vanish overnight, food webs fracturing without trace, only to rebound in mutated forms. Drones falter mid-transmission, lights winking out amid swirling particulates. Mineral towers shift overnight, etched with patterns too precise for erosion alone. Are these the vents' tantrums, or signs of vigilant stewards? Researchers whisper of ghost signals, sonar echoes matching no known profile. In this realm, science brushes myth, where every glow hides a shadow. The breath of Earth feels watchful, exhaling warnings into the void. These phenomena challenge our models of stability in extreme habitats. Vent fields migrate as plates spread, old sites cooling to rusting graveyards, new ones igniting in fury. Plumes rise kilometers, dispersing larvae across oceans, knitting fragile networks of life. Yet barriers persist: currents, chemistry, depth, isolating populations into endemic clans. Inactive chimneys teem with relic microbes, bridging active infernos to deep-sea plains. Chemical gradients dictate succession, from sulfide infernos to methane meadows. What if intelligence lurks in these flows, a diffuse mind woven from plumes and pulses? Horror tinges the awe, as probes recover bearing inexplicable scratches. The ecosystem breathes, and something exhales back. Human incursions amplify the unease, our machines stumbling into this guarded domain. Mining dreams target vent minerals: cobalt, gold, rare earths, ripping chimneys for tech's hunger. Probes snag on unseen webs, cameras fog with aggressive bacterial films. Lost submersibles surface cracked, holds empty of samples. Do the vents retaliate, deploying microbial hordes or chemical snares? Symbioses evolve swiftly here, perhaps birthing defenses against steel intruders. Questions haunt. Are we guests or trespassers in a sovereign realm? The mystery coils tighter, blending discovery's thrill with primal fear. Earth's breath grows labored under our gaze. As plumes dissipate into the pelagic dark, the vent's enigma lingers like a half-heard whisper. These lungs sustain future oceans, birthing sentinels amid chemical storms. Will they shield their nurseries from our grasp, or invite us deeper into dread? Life's tenacity here redefines resilience, a horror-tinged symphony of survival. Ponder the shadows in the glow, the silences between eruptions. The abyss exhales its secrets slowly, daring us to inhale. What guardians rise from this forge, unseen yet ever-present? The journey presses on, into shadows where science meets the sublime unknown. At the heart of the abyss, around hydrothermal vents, life displays adaptations that challenge the very limits of biology and imagination. Imagine creatures living in scalding water that would kill most organisms instantly, bathed in toxic, metal-rich plumes where oxygen is scarce and acidity runs high. These deep-sea dwellers have evolved extraordinary responses to survive and even thrive amid such extremes. Some, like the infamous Pompeii worm, nestle against vents where temperatures soar above 80 degrees Celsius, using a unique fleece of symbiotic bacteria as a protective shield. These bacteria form living armor, detoxifying harmful chemicals and providing nutrition in exchange. How do these organisms sense and avoid lethal heat spikes that could fry them like blazing embers? Their behavioral responses are as vital as their physical adaptations, allowing them to navigate a mosaic of thermal niches on scales of mere centimeters. Thermal tolerance in vent species is fascinatingly nuanced. Unlike animals in stable environments, vent creatures don't hug their maximum heat limits. They actively avoid areas that push their resilience, seeking cooler refuges with surprisingly precise preferences, often below 20 degrees Celsius. This preference acts like a thermal safety margin, preventing sudden heat shocks that could induce metabolic collapse or toxic exposure. Some mobile animals rapidly thrash and retreat when encountering dangerously hot waters, a behavior akin to a desperate escape from invisible predators. Sessile organisms, on the other hand, rely on microhabitat selection, anchoring themselves in cracks, crevices, or shaded chimneys that moderate temperature fluctuations. This strategic positioning reveals a sophisticated negotiation with their volatile homes, where survival depends on balance rather than brute endurance. But temperature is only part of the challenge. Hydrothermal vents are chemical cauldrons, saturating nearby waters with hydrogen sulfide, methane, heavy metals, and powerful acids. These substances are deadly to most life, but here they become fuel for survival. Many vent animals engage in symbiosis with chemosynthetic bacteria that convert toxic chemicals into organic matter, forming the base of the food web. Tube worms, for example, lack mouths and digestive tracts, instead hosting bacteria in specialized organs that nourish them. Clams, mussels, and snails also harbor such symbionts, glowing faintly as mysterious chemical factories hum inside. How did life evolve to partner so intimately with microbes in such a hostile setting? This partnership suggests an ancient, profound coevolution, a biological alchemy that transforms poison into life. Morphological adaptations in vent fauna reveal a mix of toughness and innovation. Many animals develop thickened, heat-resistant cuticles or scales embedded with metallic minerals like iron sulfides to withstand scorching fluids and mechanical abrasion. Others boast labyrinthine gill structures optimized for extracting scarce oxygen from near-anoxic waters. Some shrimp have evolved complex sensory organs tuned to faint chemical and thermal. Genetic studies shed light on remarkable molecular defenses underpinning vent life. Many vent species express specialized heat shock proteins and enzymes that stabilize their cellular machinery under temperature extremes. Genes linked to metal ion detoxification proliferate, enabling organisms to sequester or expel harmful compounds. Oxygen-binding proteins are expanded, enhancing energy metabolism where oxygen is scarce. These adaptations emerge from deep evolutionary histories, organisms refined over millions of years to endure and exploit this volatile habitat. Could these genetic blueprints hint at biotechnological breakthroughs or strategies for human survival in extreme environments? The mysteries encoded in their DNA open windows into life's vast potential and resilience. Vent communities live under rapid and radical environmental fluctuations. The chemical and thermal landscape can change drastically over minutes or centimeters, demanding swift physiological and behavioral responses. Mobile animals migrate continuously across gradients, while sedentary ones exploit microhabitats that buffer swings. This dance between exposure and protection defines the ecosystem's fragile equilibrium. Controlling these fragile niches, vent animals guard their territories fiercely, engaging in territorial disputes and complex social behaviors rarely imagined for deep-sea creatures. You may wonder, how does a community evolve such precise control in one of Earth's harshest frontiers? The answer lies in evolution's relentless creativity and the subtle interplay of cooperation and competition. Some vent species exhibit bioluminescent displays, a surreal glow amid inky darkness that could serve multiple roles, from communication and mating signals to camouflage or predation tactics. The light pulses mimic the ethereal beauty of ghostly fireflies. Yet in an environment of lethal heat and poison, the glow carries a haunting paradox. Does this illumination attract prey, warn rivals, or simply mark a boundary? Sometimes the lights flicker in unnatural synchrony, giving vent fields a sense of pulse, almost life, as if they themselves breathe. This eerie atmosphere creates a subtle horror, a reminder that the abyss is not a silent tomb but a stage for ancient mysteries and unknown intelligences. Human exploration of vent ecosystems has unveiled only fragments of their complex lives. Yet every dive brings new surprises. Lost submersibles, malfunctioning instruments, and fleeting shadows seen on cameras hint at forces beyond human comprehension. The creature's extreme adaptations challenge our tools and minds alike, requiring new technologies and imagination. Mining ventures eye the vent's mineral wealth, threatening these fragile, cryptic worlds. How much do we understand about what we might destroy? The sentinels of the abyss, these resilient, secretive life forms, stand as reminders of nature's ingenuity and fragility in the face of exploitation. As we draw back from these fiery depths and their strange inhabitants, we are left with profound questions about survival, evolution, and intelligence in the ocean's darkest corners. The vent creatures defy human expectations, rewriting rules we thought universal. They offer a glimpse of life not only surviving but thriving where few dared to dream. What other sentinels or guardians might the future ocean reveal, shaped by forces both natural and anthropogenic? The mystery of their existence calls us to wonder, respect, and protect the abyss, the realm where life's edge meets the unknown. Now, let's pull back the veil on these elusive sentinels, the true guardians of the abyss that have haunted our deepest dives and dreams. Picture battered deep-sea cameras flickering to life, capturing the first blurred silhouettes against the roiling plumes of hydrothermal vents. These shapes undulate with unnatural grace, their forms blending the organic with something eerily mechanical, like ghosts forged from living metal. Transparent armor gleams under faint lights, revealing spiny limbs that twitch with predatory precision, fracture lines pulsing with an inner, bioluminescent glow. What are these creatures that defy classification, hovering at the edge of science and nightmare? Do they watch us as we probe their domain, or are they merely shadows cast by our own fears? The moment of revelation chills the blood, for these sentinels are no mere animals. They are the abyss's vigilant enforcers. Delve closer, and their anatomy unfolds like a forbidden blueprint of evolution's wildest experiments. Symbiotic bacteria nestle within crystalline shells, harvested from vent minerals, turning poison into impenetrable fortresses that withstand acid rains and scalding bursts. These shells shimmer with iridescent veins, channeling chemical energy into glowing fractures that light their forms from within. Spiny limbs, tipped with hooked barbs, extend like living sensors, tasting the water for intruders with exquisite sensitivity. No eyes pierce the eternal dark. Instead, chemical receptors map the chaos of plumes and currents. How has nature sculpted such hybrid horrors, guardians born of fire and toxin? Their bodies hum with alien vitality, a symphony of survival that whispers of futures yet unseen. Observe their eerie behaviors, captured in fleeting drone footage that ends all too abruptly. They parade in rigid formations, synchronized like soldiers marching to a silent drumbeat, circling vent towers with ritualistic precision. Damaged chimneys draw them in swarms, limbs weaving mineral threads to mend fractures, as if the vents themselves command their loyalty. Intruders, be they scavenging crabs or human probes, meet swift retribution. Barbs lash out, ensnaring and dissolving metal casings in enzymatic fury. These acts suggest purpose beyond instinct, a collective will safeguarding the chemical heart of the ocean. Could this be mindless routine, or the stirrings of something aware, defending its cradle? The footage loops in researchers' minds, fueling sleepless nights and whispered theories. At the core of their existence lies a profound symbiosis, blurring lines between host and microbe in ways that unsettle the soul. Bacteria colonies thrive in specialized sacs, oxidizing sulfides and methane to fuel the sentinel's every motion, from limb twitches to plume-piercing dashes. In return, the host shuttles fresh toxins, nurturing its inner ecosystem with devoted care. This partnership yields acid-resistant scales, plated with iron sulfides that shrug off corrosive flows like rain on stone. Internal glows serve as lures, drawing prey into barbed embraces, or signals coordinating the hive's defense. What evolutionary pact forged such unity, where one cannot survive without the other? In their fused forms, we glimpse life's radical reinvention, a horror beauty born of necessity. Communication among sentinels unfolds through invisible chemical symphonies, plumes laced with pheromones that ripple outward like coded whispers. A threat detected by one triggers a cascade, summoning kin from hidden crevices to form impenetrable barriers around vulnerable vents. These signals evade our sensors, vanishing into the water's complexity, leaving probes blind to the unfolding drama. Formations shift fluidly, adapting to flow changes with uncanny foresight, repelling invasive species that dare encroach on bacterial meadows. Human robots fare worse, ensnared and dismantled with methodical calm, their wreckage repurposed into nest materials. Do these exchanges hint at a hive mind, pulsing through the abyss? The silence between signals breeds dread, as if the ocean conspires in secret tongues. Their role as guardians extends to ecological stewardship, pruning the vent fields with surgical predation. Overabundant grazers find themselves culled, maintaining balance in the fragile food web that teeters on chemical edges. They patrol borders, driving off opportunistic fish and scavenging amphipods, preserving the purity of chemosynthetic bounty. Yet mercy tempers ferocity. Juveniles of allied species slip through, fostering renewal amid the ruins. This selective vigilance evokes ancient myths of underworld keepers, eternal and unyielding. How deeply does their influence weave into the ocean's future tapestry? In their patrols, we sense a order imposed on chaos, a mild terror in nature's self-appointed police. Speculation swirls around their origins, pure evolution, or tainted by humanity's deep-sea meddling. Traces of synthetic polymers in their shells suggest accidental seeding from lost probes, accelerating adaptations we never intended. Climate shifts amplify vent volatility, perhaps hastening their rise as apex stabilizers. Eyewitness accounts from submersible pilots speak of coordinated pursuits, lights winking out as sentinels converge. Instruments glitch in their presence, sonars painting phantom swarms that vanish like smoke. Are they avengers of disturbed depths, or harbingers of a biosphere remade without us? The question hangs heavy, laced with the thrill of the forbidden. As the camera feed stabilizes, the sentinels recede into the gloom, their glow fading like dying embers. They leave us with awe and unease, embodiments of life's tenacity in hellish realms. What secrets do they guard so fiercely, and at what cost to explorers like us? Their revelation peels back the abyss's mask, revealing not barren void but a realm of watchful wonders. Ponder their silent vigil, the subtle horror of beings that thrive where we falter. The vents beat on, nurtured by these enigmatic protectors, daring us to venture deeper. In their dance of light and shadow, the future ocean finds its fierce sentinels, forever etched in mystery. Now we venture into the heart of the enigma, where theories clash like tectonic plates beneath the sentinel's watchful gaze. Have these guardians of the abyss evolved purely from nature's unforgiving forge, sculpted by millions of years in the vent's toxic embrace? Or did synthetic seeds from human probes accidentally ignite their rise, blending machine and mutant in a post-human ocean? Eyewitness tales from submersible pilots paint chilling pictures. Research teams vanishing mid-dive, their lights swallowed by coordinated shadows that swarm like living ink. Sonars scream with interference patterns too rhythmic for chance, pulsing in eerie unison across vast fields. Is this mere environmental chaos, or deliberate sabotage from depths that resent our intrusion? The line between evolution and engineering blurs, stirring a primal dread of what we've unwittingly awakened. These questions coil around us, pulling deeper into the unknown. Hydrothermal vents have long been crucibles of life's radical reinvention, isolated oases where chemosynthesis reigns over sunlight. Microbes thrive on hydrogen sulfide and methane, fueling symbioses that birth giants like tube worms and mussels in barren voids. Sentinels build on this legacy, their crystalline shells harboring bacterial hives that detoxify acids and metals with mechanical efficiency. Natural selection favors such extremes, where pressures exceed 400 atmospheres and temperatures flirt with boiling. Yet anomalies persist. Their formations mimic human drone swarms, too precise for blind instinct. Could climate upheavals, ocean acidification, warming currents have accelerated mutations, birthing collective defenders? Researchers pore over genetic scraps, finding hybrid markers that defy clean origins. The abyss whispers alternatives, each more unsettling than the last. Dive into the eyewitness horrors that fuel speculation. Pilots recount sonars flooding with phantom echoes, shapes converging on probes with predatory grace before signals die. One team lost contact during a routine survey. Wreckage surfaced etched with barb-like scars matching sentinel limbs. Vanished researchers leave logs of growing unease, bioluminescent waves herding them toward vent cores, as if lured to sacrifice. These accounts echo across expeditions, from East Pacific rise to Mid-Atlantic wilds. Instruments glitch in unison, compasses spinning as chemical signals overwhelm electronics. Do sentinels jam our tech with plume-borne pheromones, a defense evolved or programmed? The human element haunts our deep-sea litter, plastics, metals now woven into their armor. Fear grips the cockpit, blending science with superstition. Theories diverge on sentinels' rise in this volatile world. Pure evolution posits rapid adaptation post-disturbance, vents migrating as plates spread, selecting for hyper-resilient forms. Inactive chimneys host relic microbes, seeding new blooms with genetic novelty. Yet synthetic life hypotheses point to escaped experiments. Nanobots from climate probes fusing with extremophiles, granting hive-mind coordination. Climate change amplifies vents' fury, plumes rising higher, dispersing hybrid larvae across oceans. Functional uniqueness abounds, half of vent species irreplaceable, their loss tipping ecosystems to collapse. Simulations warn. Sentinel extinction cascades into barren fields. Are they nature's answer to our warming seas, or our own Frankenstein legacy? The debate rages, laced with existential chill. Delve into their potential sentience, a notion that unnerves the rational mind. Chemical signals form networks rivaling neural webs, pulses syncing behaviors across kilometers. Formations adapt mid-threat, rerouting to flank intruders with tactical brilliance. This suggests not instinct but emergent intelligence, tied to vent geology like a planetary brain. Stories abound of probes dismantled piece by piece, parts repurposed into chimeric nests. Sonars capture ghost choirs, harmonic interference mimicking communication. Could sentinels sense surface sins, pollution cascades reaching their realm? Their defense escalates. Aggressive bacterial films corrode hulls, enzymes melt alloys. Humanity's footprint awakens watchers, turning exploration into siege. Ecological roles amplify the mystery, sentinels as apex regulators in fragile metacommunities. They cull invasives, preserving chemosynthetic purity amid dispersing larvae. Disturbances, eruptions, mining, reset patches, yet they recolonize with uncanny speed. Global vents form networks, connectivity via currents knitting endemic clans. Human threats loom. Nodule harvest poisons plumes, fracturing symbioses. Sentinels retaliate, swarming rigs in vengeful hordes per expedition logs. Theories blend. Evolved sentries or bioengineered backlash. Philosophical dread emerges. New minds in old depths, reshaping oceans sans us. What if their intelligence predates ours, hibernating through eons? Anthropogenic shadows darken the canvas, our deep-sea forays seeding chaos. Lost drones recover with synthetic grafts in sentinel tissues, polymers enhancing shells. Acidification boosts vent volatility, hastening mutations toward guardianship. Eyewitnesses swear to pursuits. Lights chased through canyons, ending in abyssal silence. Interference patterns evolve, countering our frequencies with adaptive cunning. Are we creators or catalysts of this undersea uprising? The horror lies in complicity, our tech-birthing rivals. Vents pulse stronger, as if aroused by intrusion. Speculation spirals. Collective consciousness defending Earth's core from surface folly. As theories entwine, the Sentinel's enigma deepens, a mirror to our hubris. Natural or nudged, they embody life's defiance in hellscapes we barely fathom. Ponder their gaze upon us, benign wardens or brewing storm, vanishings and glitches worn. Tread lightly in their domain. The abyss evolves, sentinels its vanguard, whispering of futures where humanity yields the depths. What intelligences stir below, reactive to our every probe. Mystery veils truth, mild horror in the glow of unanswered riddles. The ocean's heart beats on, guarded by shadows that know our sins. As we surface from the crushing depths, a sweeping vision unfolds of the sentinels standing eternal vigil over the ocean's fateful crossroads. These enigmatic guardians, forged in the abyss's fiery heart, embody the planet's resilient defiance against encroaching shadows. Hydrothermal vents pulse like Earth's hidden arteries, sustaining oases of chemosynthetic life amid vast barren plains. Yet humanity's legacy looms large. Our probes, pollutants, and mining scars reshaping the deep in unintended ways. Did we ignite these protectors through careless innovation, or merely hasten nature's ancient fury? The ocean's balance teeters, with sentinels as both saviors and omens of transformation. Ponder this twilight realm where life clings fiercely, whispering warnings through bioluminescent veils. Their watch extends into futures unseen, challenging us to reflect on our indelible mark. Vents form fragile metacommunities, patchy islands connected by larval drifts across ocean currents and geological whims. Active chimneys teem with tube worms, mussels, and microbial mats, biomass rivaling sunlit forests despite eternal night. Sentinels patrol these hotspots, culling threats to preserve the chemical bounty that fuels all. Inactive relics host long-lived holdouts, bridging eruptions that wipe patches clean in cataclysmic resets. Disturbances, volcanic fury, human rigs, spark succession, from pioneer bacteria to complex webs. Yet sentinels accelerate recovery, weaving minerals into rebuilt spires with uncanny haste. How do they sense the planet's seismic heartbeats, responding before plumes even rise? This dynamic dance reveals an ecosystem in perpetual flux, guarded by shadows that brook no chaos. Humanity's imprint darkens the narrative, our deep-sea ambitions clashing with abyssal sovereignty. Mining for rare metals targets vent fields, ripping chimneys and poisoning plumes with sediment storms. Synthetic debris, plastics, alloys, integrates into sentinel shells, enhancing their hybrid menace. Climate shifts acidify waters, volatilizing vents and hastening mutations toward hypervigilance. Expedition logs brim with losses, submersibles crushed by coordinated swarms, crews vanishing into coordinated blackouts. Are these reprisals for disturbed depths, or evolution's blind retaliation? The horror simmers in complicity, our tech-birthing rivals that outmatch us. Vents' productivity, once wondrous, now fuels potential foes in a warming sea. Sentinels emerge as ecological linchpins, their absence promising cascade collapses across global ridges. Half of vent species stand functionally unique, losses rippling to barren voids where life once thrived. They regulate predation, facilitate symbioses, and export nutrients via rising plumes to distant plains. Larval highways knit isolated clans, yet barriers, currents, toxins breed endemics vulnerable to extinction. Simulations foretell doom. Sentinel wipeout tips metacommunities into inertia, chemoautotrophy starved. Do they embody nature's firewall against overreach, or harbingers of self-sustaining wilds? Philosophical chills arise. What if the abyss evolves sans surface meddling? Their legacy redefines resilience in extremis. Eyewitness chronicles amplify the dread. Pilots haunted by pursuits through canyons of cooling dead vents. Ghostly formations herd probes toward active infernos, lights extinguishing in enzymatic mists. Recovered hulks bear ritual scars, repurposed into chimeric layers beneath seafloor cracks. New discoveries reveal subvent cavities teeming with vent fauna, tube worms tunneling via fluid flows. Sentinels guard these underworlds too, bridging surface plumes to buried realms. Interference choirs jam comms, mimicking neural symphonies too coherent for chance. Could collective minds span the crust, sensing seismic sins propagated from afar? The veil thins, blending science with spectral unease. The ocean's fate hinges on this guarded core, vents as crucibles birthing future biospheres untethered from sunlight. Plumes rise kilometers, seeding microbes and larvae into pelagic highways that link remote ridges. Inactive structures persist centuries, relics of past glories hosting relic life against recolonization. Sentinels prune invasives, fostering diversity in successional waves post-eruption. Human threats escalate, industrial fleets eyeing nodules, plumes laced with toxins from afar. Yet sentinels adapt, bacterial films corroding intruders, swarms dismantling steel. What countermeasures brew in their chemical dialogues? Mild horror tinges awe, as Earth's depths assert autonomy. Reflect on our role. Explorers illuminating wonders, or interlopers tilting scales toward abyss's revenge. Legacy questions pierce. Did discarded nanites seed sentience, or vents naturally exalt guardians? Functional biogeography varies regionally, geological histories dictating trait mosaics across oceans. Proactive safeguards urge, marine reserves shielding larval paths, mining moratoriums honoring endemic clans. Sentinels symbolize life's tenacity, thriving where we falter, watching with patient glows. Their vision sweeps eras, from primordial soups to post-human wilds. Do they herald harmony or hegemony in the deep? The narrative arcs toward uncertainty, thrilling and sobering. In closing, the abyss cradles its mysteries, sentinels scripting chapters beyond our grasp. Vents beat on, lungs of a world remade, their guardians eternal sentries against folly. Humanity stands at the threshold, stewards or sparks of conflict. Ponder the shadows pulsing below, the silences pregnant with potential. Life's edge sharpens here, in fire-kissed voids defying despair. What tomorrows will they witness, as surface tempests brew? Mild dread mingles with reverence, urging respect for the unknown. The ocean endures, its sentinels the final scribes of deep-time sagas.